Welcome to the Beyond the Ears podcast, a podcast about all things Disney.
You are listening to episode 41. Today we're going to be talking about the finale of She-Hulk.
Woo!
So we both have very different opinions on this episode. Josh, you can kind of start us off.
So I definitely love this episode. I thought it was hilarious and super meta, and I didn't know I wanted this, but it was perfect.
Okay.
And because it was just so different.
It definitely was different. Okay, so where are we going after this? Or is there going to be a season 2?
Well, yeah, they definitely set it up. I mean,
I feel like
when she was in the writer's room as She-Hulk.
Yeah, it was so weird.
It was so cool. It felt like a comic to me.
I just didn't like it. I'm sorry. There were elements that I did like, and then I just didn't feel like it felt like a finale, and it didn't really, to me, it didn't feel like anything was like wrapped up. And it felt like we built up to nothing. There was like
yeah, but do we always have to build up to something?
Well, I mean, I feel like the show was trying to build up to something. And then it kind of was like, oh, let's undo it. Just kidding. Do our own thing. It was super weird.
That's why I loved it. I'm like, well, it's not following the typical Marvel formula, and it's unique.
Yeah.
The whole Kevin Feige.
Mm-hmm.
And he even had like a baseball cap, and like he was reading comics, and that's how he was getting plots for movies and TV shows, was reading comics.
Yeah.
They were scanning comics. I thought that was great. I mean, that whole sequence was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what else did you not like about it?
Let's talk about the things that I did like.
Okay.
First.
Okay.
Because the main thing I didn't like about it was that it felt like throughout the series we were kind of building up to something bigger, and then it just like nothing happened. You know what I mean? Because she broke the fourth wall and kind of did her own thing and basically undid it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it.
So I didn't really like that. I also did not like where it was going anyway. You know? Okay, we'll talk about the things that I did like. Okay, so I did like her parents were in this episode. Her dad is really funny. Both of her parents were great.
Yeah.
I did like how they interacted with her and just the overall like sense of family, and the comedy was good for that. So
I love when the dad's got the hose and he sprays them. He's like, I don't care if we're in a drought or not. I got plenty of water pressure.
Yeah. So her parents were great. I did enjoy her reference to X-Men. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Even though that was at the end, like where she was doing
breaking
her
the
own
fourth
thing.
wall.
Yeah. So I did like the reference to X-Men. And then obviously Daredevil, I liked that at the end.
Yeah.
We had talked about last time that you didn't think he was going to be in this next episode.
Yeah.
And you thought he was going to be done. And I feel like, I don't know, it probably would have been better if he wasn't in it. Because it just like felt kind of meaningless. It didn't feel like an event that was necessary for him to show up. I mean, I love Daredevil and I love this kind of relationship that they're building between the two.
Yeah.
And it definitely was exciting to see him in this episode to bring that back a little bit, but I didn't feel like it was worth his time, really. I liked, obviously, that the Hulk was in it, Mark Ruffalo.
Mm-hmm.
We had, what is going on at the end there?
That's his son's scar.
What the hell?
Yeah.
What? Tell me about that.
Well, in the comics, whenever he's on Planet Hulk, or whenever he's on Sakaar, he falls in love with a girl named Kyera. And the ship that the Illuminati sent Hulk like into space with, well, that ship like was like a nuclear reactor, and it blew up and it killed Kyera, his wife.
Okay.
Because they were like dating and like a wife, and like he was like the king of the planet.
Okay.
So anyway, like to make a long story like short, she like created a cocoon where he could grow.
Okay.
And like he emerged out as Scar.
So obviously time works differently where he was at. How long do you think he was there for him?
I don't know, but I'm assuming he's gonna be like a teenager or older.
Looked like it.
Yeah.
That was weird.
It was funny.
I literally was like, I think I said out loud, like, what the hell is happening right now? I don't know. I feel like they're trying to do so many things with this show, and it just was not working.
I think that's
they
why
were trying to do too many things.
I think that's why I like
they didn't do
it.
any of it well.
I think that's why I like it. Because it's like such a, like, what is happening right now kind of moment.
Yeah, I was like,
the whole, whenever he Todd injects himself with the Hulk
God.
serum, and he starts like hulking out.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is crazy. And then Titania busts in the wall.
Yeah.
And then Hulk like comes through the roof. I'm like, holy shit, like, where did he come from?
Yeah. When that Todd guy injected himself and started to turn into Hulk, I was like, no. Okay, this is wrong. This freaking loser does not get to be a Hulk. This is not what's supposed to happen. So I'm just like, he's just not a good enough bad guy. Just so weird, you know? And then Titania, like, I think at that point I had zoned out because I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What's happening? And then that's when she was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is weird. Yeah. I don't like this. I'm going to rewrite my own story, which is, I have mixed feelings about that. Like, it was kind of cool.
What did you like? Because when I watched it this morning and she's like, goes to Disney Plus homepage,
I was like, oh, this is what's happening right now.
Well, I was like, what? Did this just cut off?
Well, we have so many freaking problems with like our internet right now. I was like, oh God. At first, yeah.
And then she's like, what is this? Oh, let's go through here.
That was kind of interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
But I just felt like the part where she was talking to Kevin, the robot.
Yeah.
And he was like, something about the animators or the CGI artists were working on another project. They've moved on to another project. So you're going to have to transition off camera.
Cut off camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a joke, but that's probably true. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I hate that. I hate that. That's probably true. Like, don't tell me that.
Did you hear whenever they said they're already working on another project, the Wakandan drums, the do-do-do-do-do-do?
I didn't recognize. No.
Oh.
I'm not going to lie. Like, at that point in the episode, I was kind of disengaged, I guess. Because I tried to go into, I was also like making magnets while I was watching it. For our crafts, but whatever. Yeah, at that point I was like, I had really tried to focus at the beginning, and then when she broke the fourth wall and went into Disney Plus, and like I was like, okay, I think I'm done for today.
I can't believe that. I thought you would like that.
No.
I was so like excited. I was like, this is so cool.
I mean, I did enjoy elements of it. Like I liked that she turned into She-Hulk and was wearing her uniform, and she kind of just took charge and didn't really hold back, and kind of just, you know, took the reins on that one. I liked that part of it, but the whole part where she was like in the writer's room, I was like, oh my God, like, no, it's just, no, I'm sorry. Like
I'm so glad you didn't.
Happening?
I'm kind of like glad you didn't like it, and glad I liked it, because now we can like rebuttal a little bit.
I don't know. Like, what did you think about the scene in the writer's room?
I thought it was great.
Oh my God. I just like,
when they're like, I want to talk to Kevin. Like, no one talks to Kevin.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Yeah. I don't know.
I thought it was great. And like they're definitely setting up for season 2, obviously.
I just feel like
because they said like, what do we do for season 2? And like, oh, well, a really long dream sequence and like all this.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I'll definitely watch if there's a season 2, because maybe it'll be better.
I love how you say, yeah, I'll probably watch it. Like we've got to watch all these shows. So
I'm just a little disappointed. I think the main thing is that it felt like in the beginning of the series we introduced the Illuminati, or no, what is it?
Intelligentsia.
Okay. See, that's from Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Intelligentsia. They introduced it like it was going to be like this big thing. Like she's attacked. They're trying to get her blood. They get her blood. What are they going to do with it? Not make another fucking Hulk. That's weird. And not maybe make another Hulk, but like not that guy.
Well, I mean, who knows what actually is like. I mean, yeah, Todd said he was like, I'm behind Intelligentsia and all that kind of stuff. But like, and he said he sent it off to a lab. Well, who's working the lab? That's that kind of thing. Like he's obviously working with someone.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's just going to be left at like Todd's a creep and Intelligentsia is like a whole lot of nothing now.
Yeah.
I think it's left open kind of ambiguously.
Mm. Yeah, and I thought we were going to get like this big Emil moment.
Mm-hmm.
Not him being like a public speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And again, she like kind of tried to undo all of that stuff. But like we still didn't get our Emil moment. And I really like him.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I wanted to see like Abomination like freak out.
Well, I'm sure you will in Doctor Strange 3 apparently.
But I don't know. I did like the X-Men drop when she said that.
Mm-hmm.
And then cuz that's obviously like we're going to find out.
When are we getting the X-Men?
Right? When are we getting the X? Soon. Hopefully we'll get some news there, but yeah. And then Daredevil, like I said earlier, I loved. Well, I
loved when he just like popped up, like just fell out of the sky.
Yeah,
I love that, and he was like, "Oh, you were a little late," but he's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, you missed the whole thing. It's
but
good.
I love that, and then I love the dinner or the lunch scene where he's like eating lunch with them at the family table.
That was like, as a consumer, I liked it. But also, it felt like a waste of Daredevil's time. You know? What do you think about that?
I don't think it was a waste of his time. I mean, he's banging her, so.
Okay. I just feel like he's like always like fighting for a bigger cause and like doing good work, you know? And he had been there for a week, they said in the show.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I
mean, if they're an item, cool. But it's just like.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was like, oh, well, this is kind of cool seeing like Matt Murdock like cut up a little bit, other than just being like so broody and dark all the time.
I like the broody and darkness.
I mean, I do too. I'm just saying it was like kind of nice to see him like cut up a little bit, like I just said.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, like he is a kind of a goofy character sometimes. Like when he wants to be, and when he wants to be serious, he can be super serious, but. He's also like rode on Silver Surfer's surfboard and like acts like he's like surfing waves, and he wore like a cheesy Christmas sweater to a Christmas party that says I'm not Daredevil and shit like that. I mean, he's like inherently like a kind of funny character in the comics. So I like how I just enjoyed that he seemed happy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What else?
I love Nikki and Pugs. Their whole infiltration.
That was funny.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like with the ear pod. Because like they obviously don't have like the Avengers like little ear things that you can't see. And she's like, put this in your ear. And he's like, well, it won't look obvious that I got like one AirPod in my ear. And they're like, no, everyone literally will have that in their ear.
Yeah. No, that was funny. And then when she they lost connection or whatever, she's like, he cannot improvise.
Yeah.
This guy has no improv ability.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I love Nikki. I think she's great. And Pugs I thought was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever Todd was like, pugs, and I was like, oh shit, it's Todd. It was Todd the whole time. I enjoyed that whole scene with him. Like, I hate females. And I love that all the intelligentsia dudes were like, definitely, or I don't even know what to call it. Like, I wouldn't have, if I wouldn't have liked She-Hulk or She-Thor if it was played by someone else, or if it was someone else doing it and it was a guy.
Yeah.
This is like, oh my God, because I love that it's just trolling the internet, because it's what's happening on the internet every week after She-Hulk. It's like, oh, She-Hulk is a bunch of a woke show and blah blah blah. I'm like, just enjoy a freaking show for once. God. Like, it doesn't matter. Well, this is gonna be a short episode.
Well, I mean, you can keep talking if you want. Like, I feel like I've been talking the whole time.
No, that's fine. I mean, you didn't like the episode, so I'm curious to why you didn't like the episode.
Yeah, I mean, I've stated everything, I think.
Let's see. I think the whole Hulk and Scar thing is awesome, because it obviously is setting up like a World War Hulk event eventually.
Yeah.
And I mean, beyond that, I enjoyed the whole Kevin scene.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. I watched this at 5:00 this morning, so I'm trying to think of like what I really liked. I should have watched it again at lunch, or finished it at lunch, because I tried watching it at lunch. Yeah, I'm stuck right now.
Post-credit scene.
Oh, post-credit scene, yeah. Wong and Emil. Obviously, Emil's in his little containment cell. And Wong obviously portals in, and Emil's like, it took you long enough. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen there. Obviously, we're going to see Wong in something eventually. Maybe Shang-Chi 2, or I don't know. Doctor Strange 3, obviously, but it hasn't even been announced yet. So who knows when that comes out.
Okay. So overall thoughts on the series. If you had to rate it, what would you rate it?
Rate it? Mm-hmm. I would say like an 85.
Okay.
Out of 100.
Okay.
So like a solid B+, or like solid B.
Okay. I'm thinking like a 70. Solid C.
Solid C.
I won't watch it again, but I probably will watch episode 8 with Daredevil again, because that was a really good episode. If the whole show is that good, it would be an A.
Yeah, I agree. That episode was awesome, but I will rewatch the last episode for sure, because it was so funny. Episode 8 I will rewatch again for sure, and probably like episode 1 and 2. 1, 2, and 3. Those were all really good episodes too.
Okay, so what did you like overall thoughts on the show?
It was different, and I respect that it was not the typical Marvel formula of like, oh, we're starting out with this and we're going to end up with this. Yeah. And there's going to be a big climactic fight at the end, and I mean, I think that's why everyone wanted, like, oh, you need to let the directors direct and do their own thing instead of just this Marvel formula. And now that's happened, and everyone's like, I hate it. Like, same with Thor, Love and Thunder, and Doctor Strange 2. Like, they let the directors direct their movie, and everyone's freaking out that it's not part of the Marvel formula. It doesn't follow the Marvel formula. It's not like a Marvel movie.
Okay, so I feel like what they did in this episode, if they had cut out a couple of the middle episodes that weren't very good, like 5 and 6, or 6 and 7, something like that. If you cut out those couple of episodes and pushed everything back or forward, I guess, a little bit, and this had happened in episode, it would be like 7 or 8 instead of the finale episode, and then we got a little bit more like, okay, so it should have been like more in depth than it was, I feel like, and then we could have gotten a little bit more after the fact. I don't know. Maybe that would have made me like it a little bit more, I think. Does
if
that make sense?
If the episodes were like shuffled?
No. Does that make any sense? So like you get rid of, let's just say, for example, if we got rid of episode 5 and 6, you can't just wipe out 2 episodes and like not change anything else. But theoretically, if we got rid of episode 5 and 6 and we still made it make sense.
Yeah.
And then you pushed episode 7, 8, and 9. I don't know. You have to kind of forward and then you add a couple at the end. Does that make sense? Like we're just shifting the timeline.
Yeah.
Just shifting the timeline. And then now the finale that we just had was in episode 9. Something similar would happen in episode 7, but we would get a better build up to it and then a better after and then more during. I don't know if that's making any sense the way I'm explaining it.
No, it does. I thought the finale did what it was supposed to do. It finalized the show.
I didn't feel like it did.
Like it left plots for a reason to be like, oh, what's going to happen here?
There was too many plots going on by the end.
I know.
There was like way too much going on.
I know. And that's what makes it like, that's what makes it like, oh, there's going to be a season 2. What's going to happen in season 2? Or like, where are we going to see She-Hulk next? Is she going to show up in Daredevil Born Again? Because I'm assuming if we see her, that's where she will show up. Because there's 18 episodes of that. Mm-hmm. So, if she shows up in at least 2 episodes, that'll be cool. And Jen doesn't have a job at the moment.
Yeah. I like don't want it to sound like I don't like She-Hulk. Like I like She-Hulk. I like Jen as a character. Mm-hmm. I just didn't enjoy the direction that the show took. Yeah. At the end.
I get it. I think Tatiana Maslany absolutely killed it.
Oh yeah, she did a great job. I loved her as Jen. I loved her as She-Hulk. Like I love the way she broke the fourth wall. I loved her sense of humor and like her whole journey to like acceptance and confidence. I enjoyed that part of it. Mm-hmm. I like her. And I do want to see her in more things. Like if she shows up in Daredevil Born Again, I will enjoy it. Yeah. For sure. Because I like her and Daredevil and Matt Murdock have a really great chemistry. Like a very natural chemistry. So if they're in something together in the future, it's going to be good.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, I love Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock. He's just like so cool. He just plays the character so well. Mm-hmm. So
you were hilarious about that.
He does such a good job. I'm gonna start rewatching Daredevil season 1, just because I'm so like in a Daredevil mood. Yeah, it's so good.
What about Andor?
We'll have to watch it eventually, but
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm excited to see that Bruce came back in this last episode and like what we're gonna get with him in the future. Because obviously, like, we had episode 1 and then he's in episode 9. It totally makes sense. I think a lot of people kind of knew that he went back to Sakaar because he had a kid. So I was like, oh, yeah, that totally makes sense. And I kind of thought that too. Like, why would he be going back to Sakaar? Like, to find out he's got a kid. And that's why he didn't, like, answer his phone the whole time. Because he could have reached out.
That, you know what? I just had a revelation just now that it was Sakaar and that's from Ragnarok. Like, I know where that is. I know time works differently there. Yeah. And I just now made that connection. I don't know. For some reason, I was thinking it was somewhere else.
No,
Sakaar. No, it makes more sense now.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel really stupid. Yeah. You're like, you look stupid. I definitely do. Okay. Yeah, so time works differently there.
Yeah. And it's very well stated in Thor Ragnarok.
No, I know.
Everyone says it.
I know, like when you said Sakaar, I was not making the connection that it was Sakaar from Ragnarok. We've been there.
Yeah.
I was thinking like when he shot off in the spaceship, like it was going somewhere else.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
I'm done with that talking. You can continue.
I don't know what else to say. I can't think of anything else to say.
Okay, well,
oh, man, There was something in the news that happened. A bunch of Marvel movies got shifted around.
Oh, yeah. I heard Blade. You're obviously going to be much more educated on the Marvel news, but I heard Blade got pushed back really far because they changed directors, or the director quit.
Yep.
And people were making jokes. What's the character's name, or the actor's name?
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah. So people were making jokes that he is going to be as old as Wesley Snipes is now by the time they release Blade.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but
that's
yes.
funny. But
yeah.
You
know. Yeah. So a bunch of Marvel movie dates shifted around. I think everything got like pushed back pretty much. I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick, but it was. I don't know what else happened in the news. I mean, if you got any Disney news you want to talk about real quick?
I haven't done a lot of research on. I've kind of been in a hole this week, but no Disney news from me. But I wanted to say we watched Werewolf by Night.
Oh, yeah, we haven't even talked about that.
And yeah, we haven't talked about it yet. Do we want to talk about it in this podcast, or we want to do a separate?
Yeah, we can talk. Well, we could probably do a whole separate episode about that, but we can kind of give our thoughts on it.
Just very, very quick, because we got to put Grace into bed. We got to start our bedtime routine.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I do not like scary movies. I did growing up. Like, I was a weird little kid. Like, I loved to watch horror films. I watched Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street and Saw and like some weird things as a child. But now that I'm an adult, I hate it. Don't like horror movies at all. I don't need a reason to be like more stressed out. So watching the trailer for this, I thought it was going to be more like horror movie-esque, and it wasn't. It was really good. Not scary at all. So if you're somebody who's like me who doesn't like scary movies, this was not scary at all.
I think it was more tension.
Yeah. I mean, it was good. It was suspenseful, but not scary at all.
Yeah. I absolutely loved it. It obviously does a lot of world building, and it like opens up this like whole world of like monsters, which I love. I think it's going to be really cool. Like all these different monsters that we're going to see like eventually in the future, which sets up, Blade and Moon Knight and all these different characters. I thought Elsa Bloodstone was awesome.
I loved her. Yeah.
And then I thought Jack Russell, obviously werewolf, was awesome as well.
We'll definitely have to do an episode.
Where we talk about it.
Yeah, probably one of the next ones we do. We'll talk about the show.
Yeah, for sure. Super cool though. Obviously Michael Giacchino absolutely nailed it as a director, and the score for the show was like beautiful, and the black and white was really cool and unique.
Yeah.
So, well, this is a pretty short podcast.
I didn't want to say too much about Werewolf by Night.
No.
Because if we say it now, we can't really say it in the next episode.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, it was just like, man, we flew through that episode of She-Hulk. I mean, obviously we wouldn't, like, we don't like break down every scene by scene. But
yeah, I enjoy like talking about it more, like on a conversation than like doing a play-by-play, which we do sometimes still. Yeah. I think it just kind of depends on our moods.
Yeah.
But some things coming soon for the podcast. I want to do a ranking or like a grading of all of the Disney park attractions. So I listened to this on Happiest Podcast on Earth, and they basically graded all of the attractions at Animal Kingdom, and they would grade them like an A through an F, and then they had like another category. And it was really fun to listen to because they went through all of the rides and all of the shows. And it was just really fun to like listen to, and I think we would have a good time talking about that. So
that would be tricky for us because we haven't wrote everything.
Yeah. So what I was kind of thinking is that you could have it probably pulled up with like pictures.
Oh, okay.
So we'll probably go through like a list online with pictures of whatever it is. And then if you haven't got to experience it, I mean, there are some things like I've never ridden like Dumbo the Flying Elephant ride. So I can't give you like a solid, true rating on it or a grade on it.
Yeah.
But I can go based on like appearance and what I've heard about it.
I gotcha.
So we might skip like some of the kiddie rides, but most of them I think we should be able to do. I just think that would be really fun to bring some more Disney park stuff to the podcast. So
yeah, we've been pretty Marvel heavy, but we've also been super busy, and we're doing like one podcast a week instead of 3 like we were doing for a while.
Yeah, it's I think 1 to 2 podcasts a week is pretty realistic for what we're going to be able to keep up with.
Yeah.
We've been just like Josh said, super busy. I
started a new school, craft show season, just family stuff. I mean, there's always something going on, and it's like, man, we need a break.
Yeah.
Like everyone wants to see us on the weekends, and I'm like, I'm ready for a break.
Yeah, and I'm on vacation this week from work, and it hasn't really felt like a break at all. Even though like you've been at work and I've been at home. Like I've been working on our coasters and that business, and we like created a website, and I've been making them, and that stresses me out.
Yep.
To think about the scale of like a website and shipping and all of the logistics that go into it. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's what's been going on with us. Do you have anything else?
No, I think it's time to cut the podcast in so we can get our kid to bed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you all for listening today. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Beyond the Ears Podcast. Give us a rating on whatever platform you are listening. And let us know what you thought of She-Hulk as a whole, or even just this episode, what you enjoyed about it, what you didn't enjoy about it. The best way to reach out to us is on Instagram or YouTube via the comment section. So we hope to hear from you, and everyone have a good rest of your day.